Jai, Tulsi Maharani Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances to all the national Lord. So just like the Jai tree, fulfill the desire of everyone, and we are full of compassion for fallen and conditioned souls. Mani Kava Kadishka, Kutasindriya Vichas, Patikanam Pavanekyo, Vaishnavyo, Namo Namaha.
Just before chanting Jaya Radha Madhava, I just wanted to read the translation because I never really do, and I don't know it by heart. So reading the translation, it gives us something to meditate on. Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the cowherd maidens of Raj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Raj. He wanders in the forests along the banks of the river Yamuna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivacharya Satastar Shri Shri Mad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivacharya Satastar Shadar Shri Shri Mad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sahi Kaho, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shramakun, Radhakun, Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Pramanande Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Narayanama Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayasi bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavaduttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 46, Text 19. Apyayasyati Govinda Swajanan Sakrid Ikshitam Tarhi Drakshama Tadvaktram Sunasam Susmitakshanam Apyasyati Govinda Swajanan Sakrid Ikshitam Tarhi Drakshama Tadvaktram Sunasam susmitekshanam apyasyati govinda swajanan sakritikshitam tarhi drakshama tadvaktram sunasam susmitekshanam. Drakshama tadvaktram sunasam susmitekshanam govinda swajanan sakritikshitam tarhi drakshama tadvaktram Dikshitam Govinda Swajanan Sakritikshitam Hari Drakshama Tadvaktram Sunasam Susmitekshanam. Api, weather. Ayasyati, will come back. Govinda, Krishna. Swajanan, his relatives. Sakrit, once. Ikshitum, to see. Tarhi, then. Drakshama, we may glance upon. Tat, his. Vaktram, face. Sunasam, with beautiful nose. Su, beautiful. Smita, smile. Ikshana, and eyes. Translation. Will Govinda return even once to see his family? If he ever does, we may then glance upon his beautiful face, with its beautiful eyes, nose, and smile. Purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now that Krishna had become a prince in the great city of Mathura, Nanda had lost hope that he would come back to live in the simple cowherd village of Vrindavan. But he hoped against hope that Krishna would come back at least once to visit the simple cowherd folk who had raised him from birth. Jiva Goswami writes in his commentary, Nanda began to worry. My son is grateful and intelligent, but also he said he had to satisfy his relatives in Mathura. And that's from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:45-23. This will cause some delay. He then asked about some other pleasant result. Will Govinda return to see his people? Govinda is the protector of Gokula. He must return. He must return to see those who are objects of affection, his own people, Swajanan. Let him not come repeatedly, Will he come even once just to console everyone? Desire that he come to see them indicates that they are suffering as if from some serious illness. He should come at least once, and some inhabitants of Raj may not continue to live. There are some among us who are in the process of dying, having given up hope of living, who suffer from not seeing him again. Others who will live a little longer suffer from the impossibility of again seeing him. In both cases, intolerable suffering from longing will be destroyed if he comes once. With his coming there will be another pleasant result. Nanda reveals this with agitation. If he will come at some time, then we will see his face. Instead of Tarhi, sometimes Karhi is seen. Krishna promised to come and see them. Thus they would not go to Mathura and see him. Remembering his face, he remembers its beauty, almost fainting. Sanatana Goswami writes, thinking that Krishna, being intelligent and grateful, will remember them at all times, he asks another urgent question. He is the king of Gokula, Govinda. Thus he must return. He must see the people who are objects of his affection, Swajanan. He must see them at least once, since they are suffering. Will he satisfy them with his sweet words? Or will he come to see us once, not doing anything else? We expect to see him once and not anywhere else. This is a statement made in misery. He sees everything. Even staying there, he sees you at all times. Why should he come here? We will see his beautiful eyes, smile, and nose. Though all his limbs are beautiful, the nose and eyes, being the chief limbs, are mentioned to represent all his limbs. By his coming, our desires will be fulfilled completely. Out of great longing and loss of control, Nanda utters, when will this be? Karhi instead of Tarhi. Asking this question, they expect to see him in Vraj. I'll just read the translation again. Will Govinda return even once to see his family? If he ever does, we may then glance upon his beautiful face with its beautiful eyes, nose, and smile. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragana Tanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabando Jagapate Gopesha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshri Rishabhan Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Kriye Vanchakalpa Trubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare. Good morning, everyone. Please say a prayer that I can say something pleasing and glorifying to the Vaishnavas, or glorifying of the Vaishnavas. I just kept smiling when I was looking out, seeing all these exalted Vaishnavas. It's kind of it's a nice relief and a bright spot, especially when I see a Purva's childlike face. Anyways, in this verse, we have Nanda Maharaj Well, Uddhava has come to Vrindavan to, on Krishna's orders to help relieve some of the suffering and stress of the gopis and the residents of Vrindavan, that they are feeling, intense separation from Krishna, Govinda. And after receiving him nicely, receiving Uddhava nicely, and it seems like maybe having a little bit of small chit-chat and, customary, how are you doing, how's everybody, how's this person, how's that person. And now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty where Nanda Maharaj is starting to reveal some of his emotions and really what's on his mind, like what his major concerns. And as right here, it's Govinda. Is he coming back? He's just paralyzed in anxiety and just worrying. Will he come back? And in the beginning, well, at least the beginning of this chapter in Krishna book, and some of the last chapter in Bhagavatam, we can see that Krishna, or we can learn from the acharyas that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, and that Radha Radhika brought up a good point yesterday, that the suffering and emotions that they're feeling aren't exactly what we would conflate with our emotions and feelings in this world. It's kind of they say perverted reflection. I just like to say a skew reflection. But even if we can't understand that level of, or understand these spiritual emotions, we can at least get a taste or glimpse of it by reading about it. And right here it's saying Nanda had lost hope, or that he was hoping against hope. And that's kind of, we can't imitate Nanda Maharaj, but it made me think of, how can this apply to us? And I was intrigued by this hoping against hope idea, so I was looking that up. And hoping against hope is basically, the dictionary says, clinging to a mere possibility. So it almost seems hopeless, but there's still a glimmer of hope. And that's the great thing. There's still some hope. We may feel like everything's against us, Maya's against us, our mind's against us. We have so many defects, but there's still hope. If there wasn't hope, Prabhupada wouldn't have taken the immense sacrifice and trouble to come here and try to start this Krishna conscious movement. Even he seems like he shows like some hopelessness on his way over. I think on the Jaladuta, where how's this even gonna happen? How are people gonna understand what I'm doing? But there's hope. So I was let me see here. I was looking up the hope against hope in Vanapedia, and there's a section in the Nectar of Devotion about hope. It's titled The Great Hope, and this is under Rupa Goswami is describing characteristics of pure devotees with an ecstatic love of Krishna. But anyways, in this section it says, the strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called in Sanskrit Ashabandha. Ashabandha means to continue to think Because I'm trying my best to follow the routine principles of devotional service, I am sure that I will go back to Godhead, back to home. In this connection, one prayer by Rupa Goswami is sufficient to exemplify this hopelessness. He says, I have no love for Krishna, nor for the causes of developing love of Krishna, namely hearing and chanting, and the process of bhakti yoga, by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his lotus feet in the heart, is also lacking in me. As far as philosophical knowledge or pious works are concerned, I don't see any opportunity for me to execute such activities. But above all, I am not even born of a nice family. Therefore, I must simply pray to you, Gopi Janavallabha, Krishna maintainer and beloved of the gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet, and this hope is giving me pain, because I think myself quite incompetent to approach that transcendental goal of life. The purport is that under this heading, Asha Bandha, one should continue to hope against hope, that some way or other he will be able to approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And we have to have hope. I kind of want to come out here and be like, kind of be like a pep rally, because I can speak from my own experience. There's a lot of times where you're down, you're way down. It feels like Krishna consciousness and Krishna service are so far away from your mind and heart. And in this verse, Nanda is feeling like Krishna is so far away. He's not coming back. But we can... Krishna never forgets his devotees and never forgets his service, or forgets service rendered to him. And I've seen this practically in my life and with other devotees. Even when you go through rough spots and you're like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Krishna consciousness doesn't make sense. Something else is better. You go down this other path, but still, Krishna doesn't forget. You'll try and forget him, but Krishna is still going to bring you back. I've seen devotees that are, they've done such great service, and then for some reason they get, sideswiped by Maya and just think it's all nonsense. But then eventually, and they commit all these offenses, but eventually they come back. They're like, oh, wait. I made mistakes. There was something here. There was just, how do I describe it? It's just like our material dealings, and that's what kind of sets everything askew. But it's all good. Krishna consciousness works. If it didn't work, none of us would be here. We wouldn't keep going. So just keep going. Don't give up hope. And on the way over, I was thinking of like a boulder. How if you push a boulder over the hill, it just keeps going down the hill. But then the boulder might hit these bumps or might hit these pockets where it starts to roll slowly and then falls over again, or it might hit another boulder. And life is just like that. Just keep going. You might hit the bumps, but stick tight to service in the holy name and just keep going. And that's what Prabhupada did. He's like the big boulder that he hits one boulder and that starts tumbling. And, they might hit some snags or whatever, then they hit another boulder, and that keeps going, and it just keeps going and going and going. So don't give up hope. Okay? And on a similar note, I saw this clip. I like the urgency that Prabhupada brings, to Krishna consciousness, because it's right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. Right now, you can be Krishna conscious. Don't wait. Who knows where we're going to be next life? We could be a roach. We could be an amoeba. We could be a germ on Pluto. You never know. We got to take, advantage of it now. And in this, it's a lecture from Melbourne, and he touches on a few points, but somebody asked specifically about, sinful reactions, and Prabhupada's talking about Krishna. Anyways, in the video, you have to see the urgency in his face and the way he answers. It's just so quick and so sharp. Everybody is just glued to Prabhupada, and I'll get to it in a minute, but just another side note. In the video, they pan to the devotee fanning Prabhupada. And the look on this devotee's face is, practically nothing in this material world can replicate the bliss the smile on his face was huge. Anyways, so this is the question and answers part, and so I guess asks, how do you convince a person who says they're suffering when they say they're unhappy and they're not afraid to die? And Mahudwisha, who's kind of, repeating the questions, says to Prabhupada, someone who's not afraid to die and says that he's not suffering, how do? And Prabhupada cuts him off. He is a madman. That's all. Who is caring for madman's birth? And the devotee says, it's very easy to convince some people that they're not their bodies, but it's not very easy to convince them that they're not their minds. Is there some way we can? And Prabhupada says, that will take time. How can you expect that in 1 minute everyone will understand everything? It requires education, time. If he is prepared to give the time, then he will understand. Not that within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he'll understand the whole thing. That is not possible. He's a diseased man. He requires treatment, medicine, and diet. In this way, he will understand. A diseased man, if he doesn't care for medicine, diet, then he'll suffer. That's all. Sorry, I get excited. So this is an important point, that some things do take time. It's not instant thing. It's not okay, I just discovered the Krishna conscious movement, and a week later, why am I not Krishna conscious? I should be ready to take sannyas, and it's not. Things take time. Anyways, continues. A devotee asks, if we've been here lifetime after lifetime performing impious activities, does it mean that we have to be here lifetime after lifetime performing pious activities to balance out our sinful reactions? And Prabhupada goes, And Madhvi says, we have been here for many lifetimes performing sinful activities. So is it possible to counteract all those sinful activities in one lifetime? Or does it require many? And this is where Prabhupada is goes, 1 minute. That is Krishna conscious movement. 1 minute. You're not reading Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam praja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami. You surrender unto me, give up all your business. I will give you relief from all sinful reaction immediately. So it requires 1 minute. My dear Krishna, I was forgotten. Now I understand. I fully surrender unto you. And then you become immediately free from all sinful reactions. Without any reservation, without any politics, if you fully surrender, Krishna is assuring, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma shucha. He reassures, don't worry whether I will be able to give you relief from all reaction. Ma shucha. Finished, guaranteed, you do this. So how much time it requires to surrender to Krishna? Immediately you can do that. Surrender means you surrender and work as Krishna says. That is surrender. What Krishna says to do? Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. 4 things. You always think of me, and you become my devotee. You worship me and offer your respect, full obeisances unto me. You do these 4 things. That is full surrender. Mame vyasyasi asham shaya. Then you come to me without any doubt. Everything is there. Krishna has given everything fully. If you accept it, then life is very simple. There's no difficulty. And that's really, that's reassuring. So, like I was saying before, don't give up hope. Prabhupada is saying, it's simple, but our minds and when we get involved in the material world, it makes things complicated. We just have to come back to the center, which is Krishna. And in the verse, Nanda Maharaj, that's what I was. Ratna Radhika was brought up an important point yesterday, that Krishna is non-different than his name, is non-different than the Bhagavatam, is non-different than the deities. And a lot of times, I don't know about everybody else, but sometimes you do these things and it's kind of like you do it in a haze. You don't realize that there is no difference between the two. Now I lost the other point I was trying to make. But anyways, if we stay in contact with Krishna, serving Krishna, we can meditate on Krishna's face right here. Radha Golokananda, Golokananda standing right here. We can meditate on his face all day. There's an app, a screensaver on my phone, or lock screen that changes every time I look at it. It's a different picture of Radha or Golokananda or Prabhupada, and that thing's like, it's mundane, but it's invaluable because every time it's like, oh yeah, I remember that day when I dressed. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, I remember that. And it's just like simple things. Just always keep going. Just keep going. Don't let them grind you down. Don't let them bring you down. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Maybe I can use that.
Hare Krishna. I was just saying that this is the greatest investment in our lives. Everything that goes into the spiritual bank is going to reap immense benefit for us, for everybody that we touch. And that Krishna's middle name is hope. And there's nothing but hope in this process. So we are very good, very solid ground. And we need to recognize that and be totally, totally grateful that it's come to us without seeking it, maybe without deserving it for sure. Thank you for your class, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's in the material world, there's always loss and gain and ups and downs, but with spiritual life, everything you do is can be progress. Keeps going. It can add up as long as you don't mess up too much, But even that, you begin where you left off, and in that way, Krishna never forgets. Right, we're imperfect, so it's natural. It's going to happen, but the point is, don't give up, and really take advantage of spiritual life and connecting with Krishna through this Krishna consciousness movement, through Prabhupada, through the spiritual master, and in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. I guess committing offenses for the most part. I mean, following rules to a T, I think everybody messes that up to some extent. But, yeah. Mostly offenses. Shubha Kiji.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvanta Maravindanalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaranam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Vanti Kayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishnaya Mutalai Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaniti Namanai Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacha Nivesesha Shunyavare Vasachare Sacharane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Agalokyanana Radha, Agalokyanana Radha. Agalokyanana Radha, Agalokyanana Radha. Radhe 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 Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jai Om Vishnu Pada.
Eto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Jaya. Really gorgeous. Flowers.
The comeback.
Yeah. Anandamuni Vardhanam Pratinamam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvadvasnanam Arvijayate Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudani Sarvasatri Tatrapidani Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midrishame Janina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tororapi Suhishuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patisamam Vishameva Bambudao Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Pachintaya Nayanam Gadashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadaridaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Prabhashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavapadamritam Manastumam Adarshanam Marmahatakarotuva Yatatata Babidato Lampato Matprananatastu Sevanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and continues fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking when on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Oh, my Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering